All right, boys and girls, it's been a bit of a couple days. We have been scoring like crazy, and I promised you guys if we hit 1,000 likes on a video recently that I would make a how to fall on a snowboard properly video, and we murdered past it. So we're gonna try to do this right now. I don't usually make tutorial videos because they're very difficult to make and I never really know what I'm saying, but I wrote some stuff down on my phone of things that I think would help, and then I'm gonna use a couple clips that I have of me bailing that will definitely help, and I'll try to break down those and see what it was in the clips exactly that made me not fall. But before I jump into it, I gotta break down how, first of all, I have never studied or looked at any videos about how to fall. I haven't practiced falling. Everything that I know and everything that I'm about to explain to you, I'm learning from breaking down right now. And I just believe that hours on a snowboard and time on a snowboard is the way that you're gonna get good enough to be able to be a cat in the air, figure out where you are, flip stuff around, and land on your feet. So some of these things might help, but you got to put the time in to get that comfort to be able to get yourself out of these sketchy situations. And even before we jump into it, I actually have to explain that there is a mindset that is crucial whether you are dealing with an injury currently, whether you just had one or something's going on. Like, the main thing is that you need to keep that type of energy to yourself and not spread it around to others. So when you have something going on with you, stop talking about it, stop admitting it, stop telling your friends how much it hurts. Unless it's a severe thing that you actually need help with and can be fixed, you gotta figure that out and deal with it on your own because it's your injury. And when you put it off on other people, it's actually bad because you're sending out a measurable frequency into the universe that is not of love and healing. It is of like pain and stress, and it's not just you putting it out there, you're confirming it with others and they're sending it out there, and just everything about the energy that is coming to you is negative and unhealthy and painful. So just lock in the mindset that it happened to you for the best reason, good, and start to work on the things that you do have, the parts of your body that do work. If something's wrong with your ankle, work on your hands, work on your upper body, do some pull-ups. If something's wrong with your stomach and you can't do core, or it's like a rib thing when your whole kind of body isn't working great, work on meditation, work on some stretches that you can do. Start to read, pick up a program. I don't know, I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do, but just keep the mindset in the right place and you will heal faster and you won't put that on others. Please stop sending me photos of your injuries. I do not open them, I do not want to see them, and I don't think it's fair to others to have to see that from other people. So we're jumping into this right now, and we got a clip from Bogus Basin where I tried to do a frontside lip slide, tried to tap it and do a pretzel 270, and I missed the tap, which means that my axis is all crazy. I'm going at a weird angle, I'm heading backwards down the hill in the air and I can't see, and I somehow rode away from this thing and had an amazing rest of my day. So let's watch this clip right now. Boom. All right, first of all, check the feature out before you hit it. That will help you so much. I didn't look at this feature. I would have realized that the kicker was too close to the rail and the speed that I had was gonna launch me past the feature before I could actually do my tap. And there it is. Completely missed the part of the trick that would realign my axis, sending me backwards down the hill. I'm sure you've all been in this situation, and right there, I'm claiming 90% of people are catching their heel edge and are just getting bodied. So how did I ride out of this? Well, one important part is I dislocated my upper and my lower body. My lower body can almost do a full 360 in one direction if I bring my legs and not my upper body, if that makes sense to you. You can do a full 360. So if you need to get the trick done to get your board back to landing straight down the hill and not sideways on an edge, and you're not flexible enough, then you're not gonna be able to do this. So stretching will help you in this exact situation. And I'm conscious that if you are riding a snowboard straight down the hill, you won't catch an edge. You only catch an edge when your board is turned not straight down the hill, and then when you have an incorrect angle and one of your edges catches in, and you either do a face plant, tomahawk, scorpion, or you do a backwards whiplash, hit your head thing. None of those are good, and they can all be semi-avoided. So by pushing my lower body past where my upper body wanted to go to complete the trick and making sure that the first thing that happens, the first part of anything that touches anything, my board is flat, straight, pointed down the hill. And also because I know that my heel edge is gonna be super, super jeopardized, I tilt my toes so that I land forcefully on my toe edge and not catch my back edge. That happens from tilt, twist of the ankle and the knees. So if you bend forwards and you put that pressure towards your boot and you're bringing your foot towards your shin, that will put you on a forced toe edge. So when I landed, my board was flat based, and then immediately switched to toe edge. I compressed with my knees because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to hang on, but I took the pressure away from the first hit. And now, instead of saying 100% of compression will happen from a fall, I took away 30% because my feet hit first, taking away that 30%. Now there's still a 70% left portion of the fall that I need to absorb maybe 10% with my knees and my legs, as you see right there. Then as I'm falling back, there's only maybe 50, 60% left of the fall. You should never put your hands down, your wrist down. So I just wanna say that first. That's how the wrist injuries happen. But I do it consciously knowing that there is an amount of force that your wrist, elbow, arm, shoulder can all take away. But as long as it's not gonna be a ripping, forceful force, I put my arms down, and as soon as I feel them touch, I let my fingertips completely go loose. My wrists go loose. My shoulders and elbows go loose. And I absorb 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, 11, maybe 15% of that all the way until all of it's gone and I'm not putting any pressure or resistance on any of my arms because I know that that can happen. Then my butt hits, taking the last 35, 40%, whatever's left, but not all of it because I lay flat back when my butt hits, expanding that last remaining 30, 40% of the bail throughout my body, not just on the tailbone. I know that's probably a lot that I just explained, but to run it back from the beginning, the main tip that I would have for that first hit is make sure your feet touch the ground first. Because if your feet touch the ground first, then you can slowly absorb portions of that total 100% bail, and you can lose 15% of it with the legs, lose 15% of it with the knees, lose 10% of it when you fall back, 10% of it with your hands, arms, and then when your body hits, you spread out the rest of it. And that is done by loosening up. You never wanna land when you're super tight, because then something grabs and it's no bueno. So by being loose, being flexible, staying confident and committed through the entire thing, bringing my board around so that it lands down the hill in that position, taking away so much of the majority of that first impact, bending and absorbing through my knees and my legs and everything, then releasing, letting it feel free, starting a newer fall with less percent total of that 100%, and then expanding it through my arms, legs, butt, hips, sprawled out completely. One major thing, if you're upside down, that I know will help, sometimes you get poppy off of a jump and it launches you upside down. That's how I learned under flip 540s. I was going for my first 360s at Stratton Mountain in like 2010. I hit an icy poppy jump with B-dub and my back foot went almost right over my head. And as soon as I popped, I committed. I have backflips in real life, like around locations with my feet. And so I saw my landing and I know that you have to stay tucked if that happens. And because I stayed tucked, probably grabbed some weird thing, the flip came right around and I was staring at my landing front side and I pivoted a little bit, landed back seat, did the washout thing where I lay flat. And the next attempt, I actually came in wanting to do that trick that I just learned by accident, and because I committed, I kept my head tucked, I balled up, I stayed with it, and I didn't open up, I actually got the flip around, next run, did a frontside underflip 540. So huge tip is stay balled up when you go upside down and just commit to that flip, because a lot of times if you're going backside off a jump or something and you catch a heel edge and you're flying over a jump backwards, if you throw your legs up to your hands and you grab your knees and you stay flipping, you'll get that flip around, and then you can land with your board first, like I'm saying, take away some of that compression, wash out, and hopefully be all right. a random little tip in between this is that when you fall, like me right here, and I'm sliding, you see how I get up right there? Very highly suggest to you guys that if you're not at an expert level of riding and you are sliding and spinning, do not get up until you are done sliding, because if your angles aren't right and you try to pop up like I did and you don't stay on that heel edge and twist it to flat and you catch a toe edge, now you're taking a second fall, you're hitting the teeth on the ground, you're doing another tomahawk, and sometimes, a lot of times, that secondary fall is worse than the original, because if you do the original right, you should be okay. We're gonna jump into a second clip now, which is the same day at Bogus. I was a little tight. I could feel my body was too tense. I didn't have enough speed trying to ollie to the middle of this down, flat, down, flat, down. I knew on the takeoff that I didn't have enough speed and that I was gonna need to extend my legs and that I was a little bit to the left of the rail. So my main goal was to have my balance and both my feet hit the rail at the same time to keep at least that symmetrical. Once my feet hit, I knew I was slipping off to the left. Most people would let their whole legs go out and taco that next down flat, and somehow I didn't. What I believe that is the reason I didn't, I put my hand down first. Soon as my hand touched the rail, you see I let go of the hand because you don't want to take all the pressure on one spot. Remember, you're just tapping and releasing. So as soon as my hand touched the rail, it pushed to my arm, and then my arm slips off at the same time as my back foot touches the ground. Because there is just a little bit of the rail left, it's still a good portion, I could tell that there was a way that my middle body could ride over that rail if I locked my edge in long enough on the left side of the rail, didn't hit my upper body, and rode it out, and then deal with the fall after that. So my edge, as you see, is locked in. My arms are not touching the rail in one spot. I've been pushing them from hand, wrist, down to elbow, and we're into the middle section of my bicep now. And I'm leaning fully over the rail so that the main part that wants to hit right here is going past the rail, and the rail is in the center of my body that isn't touching yet. My toe edge is still locked in. I'm riding. Now I'm putting my hands down on the ground. I don't even think I'm touching the rail until right there at the end. First time that my body touches the rail, I'm so light. I take the weight off of my feet because you can see that my board is coming up in the air now, and my legs is basically just acting as a teeter instead of a sledgehammer. My legs go up in the air, my arms and my legs are just locked into the snow. I never actually hit it. I don't even think I fall. Yeah, I just lay it down. So I gotta say, it's number one is a lot of riding. The more you ride, the better you will get. There's been a lot of times when I throw something over a gigantic 70-foot kicker and I miss the trajectory and it's off axis and I miss the grab and I'm flying in a weird way and I ball up and I commit and I put my head around, and then the main thing I focus on is getting my feet to touch the ground first, which you do by being more flexible and pushing your legs around to where the landing might be, making sure that your board is flat and not sideways and hitting an edge. And if it is going to be sideways, you need to tilt or twist your ankles and your boots in a manner which makes it so that the edge that's facing downhill does not catch. So you do that once again, flexibility, torsion of the lower body, pushing your body to make sure that it gets around to that landing. And then once you're there, slowly disperse the bail energy throughout your whole body. So feet, toes, legs, ankles, hips, all that sliding until it gets to your hands. My tip, don't ever use your hands, but if you get to that level, then it's fingertips as you just loosely let everything touch, touch, touch as you're falling back and giving into it. Arms, elbows, shoulders, don't put any pressure on any of it. Zero pressure, just allow it to just hit and be there, and then expand your whole body at the end. Butt arched back, fully flat, and kind of pancake like you would into the water. And then when you're on a rail and you slip out, you just want to make sure that you try to keep your center of balance upright so that your legs don't kick out and you don't taco the rail. Try to land with your board next to the rail so that you can ride it out and get past the rail. And then once you are falling, if you're spinning and still sliding, don't get up too soon. If there's different types of falls that you guys have that are not like this rail, or that are not like clearing over rail and going backside or something else, drop some comments. Let me know if I should do a part 2 of this, because there's so many different variations of bails, but it's nice to just get this started, try to get these things going so I can get better at editing these and keeping you guys on the hill as often as possible, because you're gonna go down. It's a guarantee, we all do. Don't worry about what people think of you when you're falling. That's like, I'm saying, probably the least thing that matters in your entire life is what other people think of you. And just have fun with it. You can buy the crash protector pants and stuff like that if you want. You always want to be rocking a helmet. I support helmets like crazy. Shout out Burn Helmets. We got the discount code if you guys are interested. And yeah, just go with it. You want to ride your board as often as possible to get better at falling, but when it's happening, you want to accept it and roll with it and get out of the way as soon as you possibly can. If you're not traumatized or dramatically injured, scoot yourself to the way, even if you're seeing stars and you can do it, because you don't want to double up and have somebody hit you. And if you ever see an injury, it does not have to be your friend, your homie, one of your boys, your girlfriend, your parents, none of that. If you see somebody going down, do whatever you can, whatever you got to do. Unstrap, hike up the jump, exit off, because if that was you, you would want somebody to do that for you.